Look up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman in a black suit. Guys, Final Death Star, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, hit that little subscribe button right there and be one of the few, the proud, the subscribed. So there's been some talk of Superman in the last few days. We've gotten a little glimpse of a new suit that he'll be sporting, a little more like the comics from the death of Superman. And then, you know, when Superman returned, he had a different colored suit. So we're seeing a little glimpse of that in the Zack Snyder Justice League, as it's hopefully legally going to be called or termed. And there's another little news story about Shazam and why they used the Superman theme of all themes, the only Superman theme in my opinion, in the movie Shazam instead of the Hans Zimmer score. And lastly, there's an article explaining why Superman had to kill Zod in the end of Man of Steel, which is a big problem that a lot of people have pointed out as being one of the major flaws of the movie, is that Superman kills Zod at the end. So we're going to talk about all three of those. First off, we'll get to what most of you have probably seen, so I'm not going to go too much into detail on this because it's gotten a lot of coverage already. But it's this is from IO9, and it's Zack Snyder's Justice League. Just got a tiny little tease. Now, this is from an outtake from the Justice League where they did film Henry Cavill coming in and Superman coming in and talking to Alfred. And that was cut from the movie, but Zack is going to put that scene back in his version, and he's got here, they changed the suit. So it's the same scene. It was not reshot. They just did some CGI work and turned the color to the black with more of the gray S on his chest there, and then the more of the gray cape, you know, kind of a dull black cape to match the S. So it's the same scene, but it's just they just did some work on the color, and it explains here as well that they had the production team that they conducted tests to find a way to recolor the suit in post-production. So, and the fruit of their labor can be seen here. So this is just it's an outtake scene that was never in the movie, and they just did some work on recoloring the outfit. But it looks cool. Like I'm a fan of that suit. It was always great when he first came back in the comic with it after he had been, I wouldn't say resurrected because he never technically, he just went to the Fortress of Solitude and had to regenerate. After he was regenerated, it looked cool. It was a cool suit. So that's pretty much the story. And then here's the part where it's talking about Zack Snyder. So according to the director, the version of the movie he's building, the official Zack Snyder's Justice League, and the name is pending legal settlements with Warner Brothers. So apparently, it's not going to be called the Snyder Cut. Although I think it should, at this point, why not just call it Justice League the Snyder Cut, like the Richard Donner cut? But it's going to be called Zack Snyder's Justice League. So there we possibly have an official title. Legal, pending a legal settlement. So that is the story with that. And then that brings me to, we'll save that one for last, the Shazam. So Shazam director explains why John Williams' Superman theme was used. Why not? Because it's the best theme. It's John Williams. It's the most iconic. That and the Batman, I think. Those two, the Danny Elfman score, are the most iconic themes of any superhero movie. I dare you to name a better one than either one of those. I don't think you can. I think those two are the standout themes. Now, as to which one is more popular, I don't know. They're both great, honestly. They're both really iconic. Yeah, I can't even say which. Maybe just because I'm a slightly more of a Superman fan, I think I'd probably go with the John Williams Superman theme for me. But I mean, the Batman is just as good, honestly. So he's explaining here why Shazam director David F. Sandberg explains why John Williams' Superman theme was used at the end of the DC film instead of the Hans Zimmer from Man of Steel. The DC Extended Universe has featured some incredible music, but Hans Zimmer's Superman theme from Man of Steel might be the best theme we've heard so far. I would probably agree, although I like the Wonder Woman. I like the Wonder Woman's theme. I think that's pretty cool too. I think actually the Wonder Woman's theme for me is I prefer that over the Man of Steel theme. Man of Steel theme is cool, but like you just want to hear the John Williams score. You know, I just keep wanting to hear that every time I see Superman. So, you know, that's my thought on it. However, both Justice League and Shazam opted to use John Williams' iconic Superman theme instead of the notes from Zimmer's "What Are You Going to Do When You're Not Saving the World?" It's a mouthful to even have to say the whole title of that song, but. Oh, there he is. He's not a happy guy. He's not a happy camper right now, I'm sure. While contract negotiations reportedly kept Henry Cavill's Superman out of the first Shazam movie, his suit was still used during the character's quick cameo at the end of the film. Director David F. Sandberg recently explained on Twitter why they decided to use John Williams' Superman theme instead of Hans Zimmer's, even though Shazam takes place in the DC Extended Universe. Because it's better. There you go. That's the only explanation you need. It's better. Are you glad John Williams' Superman theme? Yes, of course. Yeah. So here's what he says here. This is Sandberg explaining why. It's a great theme. It's a great theme that pumps you up. But my thinking was it's not as recognizable for as many people as Williams, especially when you just play so few of notes of it. So of course, you know, all you have to hear is the bum 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 bum, and you know it's like Superman for fans, and then the normies say, "Oh, Star Wars," but you know, of course, it's Superman. Can you really hum the theme of Man of Steel and know exactly what it is? You know, I think it's really a slow build up. It's a real slow build up. It just doesn't have that bum 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 bum, you know, right away. If it had been a proper scene with Superman showing up to fight it, it would have been kick-ass with Zimmer. To be honest, when I made my long neck joke video and used the Zimmer theme, I did really like the feeling it gave, but it would have had to have Cavill to make it really work. So, yeah, I agree. You know, it's I mean, even with Cavill, you think of Christopher Reeve, of course, but Cavill sells the Superman. You know, you give that iconic John Williams theme, and it just helps sell the role. You know, I'm just that much more on board with, you know, Cavill playing Superman, or I mean anyone really. You hear that theme, it's like you kind of just buy into it just a little bit more. So there you have it. That's why he did it. He just thought it was more recognizable because you didn't see Cavill's face in it. But it's just more recognizable, you know, overall in any way. So, okay, and here we go. This is the last article here. Man of Steel screenwriter explains controversial Zod death. Now, I want to thank Script Doctor for tweeting this out, and I saw it, and he gave a perfect comment, and he said, if you need to explain it, it just wasn't that well written, you know, which is true, you know. It's like someone else had commented, it's like having to explain why a joke is funny. If you have to explain it, it's just not that funny. And I think that's a perfect way to sum this up. You know, if you have to explain why he killed Zod, he probably just shouldn't have killed him in the first place. So let's read it, though. The two most controversial scenes in Man of Steel are explained by writer David S. Goyer. Let's see if we buy them. When Man of Steel came out in 2013, I can't believe it's been 7 years already. That's insane. The Zack Snyder directed reboot of Superman's origins became immediately controversial with fans due to two sequences. In the first, a young Clark Kent watches his adoptive father, Jonathan Kent, is killed in a tornado, with Jonathan covertly discouraging Clark from attempting to save him and possibly revealing his true identity as the Kryptonian alien Kal-El in the process. Okay, so let's just talk about that first of all. My problem with that is that the lesson that was learned there, or should have been learned there, like in the first film, the first Christopher Reeve film, is that he even says, with all these powers, I have all this power and I was helpless. I couldn't save him. Even though I'm as strong as anyone, stronger than anyone on this planet, I have, I'm able to fly, I have x-ray vision, I've got all these powers, I'm as quick as fast as a speeding bullet, which is another thing I'll bring up here. I still wasn't able to save him. That was the limitation of his power, that mortality. He can't save someone from dying. That was the lesson learned. And in this, it's like he had to suppress who he was. He could have saved him from dying. And it's not the same lesson being learned. It's more of like I should have done this, but I didn't. Almost like the Spider-Man lesson, when Uncle Ben, like, he could have stopped him, but he didn't stop him, and then he goes on to kill his, it's slightly different, but it's in some ways it's very similar. It's not the same lesson that was learned, as knowing that you can't do anything to stop, as powerful as you are, you can't do anything to stop mortality, death from coming, natural death, I should say. But here's the thing, he's faster than a speeding bullet, so that's why it doesn't make sense. Not many people I know can watch a speeding bullet go by and say, Clark Kent? He could have gone in there, grabbed him, flown out the other side, or just sped, if he didn't know how to fly yet, because it's unclear what he obviously had enough power to save him, because Jonathan was worried that if he used his powers, people might know. So he obviously was powerful enough. He could have gone in there, grabbed him out the other side, and no one would have known. Fast as a speeding bullet. So that was an issue too I had, that like, what do you mean someone's going to know? You're faster than, it's in a storm. People aren't really staring at the tornado anyway, and even if they were, you're faster than, they're going to see a blur. They don't know what it is. The wind's going around, things are flying, they're not going to tell that's Clark Kent flying by that speed. So even with this explanation, this is just one of the problems that they're bringing up. And that's my issue with it, that A, it doesn't teach the same lesson as in the original story told, and B, he should have still been able to use his power without being caught. So, all right, so the second and even more hotly debated scene involved a final standoff between now adult Superman and the villainous General Zod in a Metropolis train station, with Superman forced to kill Zod, forced to, no other option, before the latter can slaughter an innocent family. He couldn't have just grabbed him and shot through the ceiling and, flown as they had been flying around the entire freaking city. Couldn't have done that. He just had to stand there and break his, I think he had an out. I think Superman had an out. Superman always figures out a way to not kill someone, but, he wasn't able to here. While the Christopher Nolan produced Man of Steel was advertised as a different, darker spin on the Superman mythos, fans rebelled against the presentation of both scenes, arguing that Clark Kent Superman would not let his father die, nor would he kill anyone himself. The latter, a long-standing cornerstone of the comic book canon. In his career-spanning interviews, during the Saturday, July 25th portion of this weekend's Comic-Con home event, screenwriter David S. Goyer defended both scenes while acknowledging that some fans might have been disturbed by them. On Jonathan Kent's death scene, Goyer explained, Jonathan's point was not that Clark should not reveal himself, that it was such a monumental decision that he has to be mature enough to think about the implications of what's going on, and when he does do it. So he wasn't mature enough to know the ramifications of saving his dad. Goyer continued, I understand that some people liked that scene and some people didn't like it. And they say, oh, Superman could have figured it out. But what people have to remember is that Clark Kent was only meant to be 17. At 17, you can figure that out. You're old enough. In one more year, you can go to war. I think you're able to figure out, given your power, how to fly, how to either fly or just speed, run fast enough to grab him and keep going without anyone seeing you. I mean, you're faster than speeding. Like I said, I think 17, it's not like he's a 7-year-old. He's. We saw Smallville. We all know what young Clark Kent's capable of. Not a good excuse or reason saying that Clark was untested and didn't understand the extent of his powers. Goyer added, "I don't believe that Clark could have saved Jonathan without revealing himself. That was Jonathan's point. You're not old enough, you're not mature enough to take this on because it's going to change the world." Again, Smallville, I know it's a TV show, but it still proved that wrong, proved the opposite. As for the killing of Zod, Goyer explained that the filmmakers wanted to put the young Superman in as difficult a situation as possible, saying, again, this is a mature Superman. This is the first time he's ever flown. Just days before that, he's not aware of the extent of his powers. He did fly through a city using all his powers. I think he's got a pretty good idea. He knows he can fly through buildings, so, take him, lift him up, and fly through the building. You've already done it in this entire city, throughout the entire city, and he's fighting somebody who won't stop, Zod. Zod said, "You can't put me in a prison. I won't ever stop." Goyer maintains that the act of killing Zod is what actually leads Superman to vow he'll never kill again, alluding also to a scripted but unfilmed sequence in which Jonathan takes Clark hunting and they kill a deer. Young Clark is just gutted by the act, and Jonathan says it's a powerful thing to take a life, even if you're forced to take a life. Goyer said that the filmmakers themselves debated over whether to have Superman end Zod's life, even going as far as coming up with an alternative version of the sequence. The idea was that there was one of those sorts of cryopods on the ship that ends up becoming a Fortress of Solitude that he is able to put Zod back into. Oh, that would have been a good idea. And then throw out into space, kind of like Phantom Zone, kind of sending him off in his own Phantom Zone, yeah. We did talk about it, and maybe some people would have been happier with it, but it felt like a cop-out for the story that we've been telling. I don't agree with it, but it is what it is. Saying that he absolutely understands that people had problems with it. With both scenes, Goyer maintained that they made sense for the Superman story that he, Snyder, and Nolan set out to tell, which Goyer described as a cinematic equivalent to an Elseworlds alternative universe story. We're trying to tell a different kind of Superman story, a Superman story that hadn't been told before. Yeah, and I understand that. And required us to take some big swings. I understand what they're going for, but I still think this is the DC EU, you're kind of rebirthing Superman, and if you're going to have this Superman as the main Superman, this isn't an Elseworlds tale that's taking place as a one-off. This is the Superman that's going to continue. So, I think just to start him off that way, I just didn't like it. I don't mind the Elsewhere kind of world thing, like the Joker movie we had, but when you're including that as the main figure, the main Superman figure inside of the DCEU, I just didn't really like the tone of it. But that's just my opinion. I know people like it, and I didn't hate it. I mean, I like Cavill a lot for the role. He's a great Superman. It is what it is, and I think hopefully going forward, if Cavill's going to stay on, they'll change things. Some people bring up the fact that Superman 2, the Reeves version, he throws Zod, he kills Zod. Although it's never really clearly shown what happens to him. He picks him up, when he depowers him, he crushes his hand, picks him up, and throws him against the Fortress of Solitude wall, and he floats down into the mist, and you don't see him again. Then you see Ursa and Non both do the same thing. They both, end up there. Lois punches Ursa, and Non kind of tries to fly and just falls. In a deleted scene, though, an unused scene, it shows that the Arctic police come to arrest Luthor, and they're actually taking them away. In the background, you can see them with Zod and Non and Ursa. So they actually take them into captivity. So they didn't die. Somehow, whatever's under that mist, we don't know how far down it was. And it was on film, so it's not really, I guess, canon, but it was in a deleted scene that was unused, that they did survive that. So Superman didn't technically kill him in that movie either, because I've heard that, and I actually brought that up when I first saw that. I thought I had a problem with the Cavill, this version, the Man of Steel version, killing Zod, and I thought, well, he did kind of kill him in Superman 2, but after some more research, I found out that technically that's not true. They did survive it. So anyway, let me know your thoughts of all this. Couple Superman articles coming up, and I thought I'd share them with you, so let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching this video, and until next time, lock the doors and hope they don't have blasters.